Hello guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking again about Buffy the Vampire Slayer and specifically discuss whether Buffy has the worst friends ever. So the main theme in Buffy the Vampire Slayer series is the friendship. And we see it since season 1, where we have three main characters bonding over the fact that they really don't belong to any other group, but they gather around this one cause. Even though it's Buffy's cause, her fight with evil, these friends of hers stick with her, growing together until the very end. Of course, I'm talking about Willow, Xander, Buffy, our three musketeers. And thanks to them, Buffy doesn't have to do it alone. She can lean on them and use this source of power. The reason Buffy lives longer than all the previous Slayers before her is because she has ties to this world in form of friends. And not only that, but also she successfully uses the skills of her friends, particularly with Willow. We can see that she's very strong in witchcraft. Sometimes people say stronger than Buffy. I cannot say much about powers of Xander, but we can see in a few episodes they use his strength, his kind heart, and some of the sources that can tap into and fight evil. When I was watching and then later rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, there was one episode in particular that literally filled me with rage. I'm talking rage to the point where I had to go online and leave a comment, which I never do. It felt so painfully unfair to watch Buffy's friends betray her that it raised questions of why they actually want to be friends of Buffy's and be in her orbit, in her universe filled with fighting, with evil, with danger. Through the course of the show, Buffy's network of friends growth with the extension of friends of the friends, lovers of the friends. We have Anya, Xander's unwanted girlfriend. We have Dawn, Buffy's unwanted sister. We have Giles. We have Spike. We even have Faith coming at the end of the episode to be on Buffy's side. We have Professor Wood. We have this great group of powerful people coming together at the climax of the show in season 7 to fight the most dangerous evil, the first evil in the very beginning of the universe. This is the evil that's gonna change the rules of the game by wiping out all the potential slayers. I'm talking about episode 19 in season 7, where Buffy is being literally kicked out of her own house by her friends. Yes, her friends. Why exactly? Let's break it down. So today I'm bringing you this episode that we're gonna review together and discuss the motivation of each and every person behind why they decided to kick Buffy out of the group. So let's get back to events at hand. Right after the unsuccessful ambush of Buffy and potential slayers by Caleb, we see them recovering from very heavy losses. A few of potential slayers were killed. We see the seriousness of situation in the fact that one of the Scooby Gang members is seriously injured. So before that, every injury that happened to this group of friends were kind of something that you could kind of recover from eventually. Broken arm can heal, some other things that you could change with magic. We're talking about Xander losing an eye. Obviously, a permanent injury, you cannot recreate an eye. So this gives us the hint that this situation is unlike anything else that they faced before in all the previous seasons. This is serious. This is one member of your permanent gang that is losing half of his eyesight. We see that this is the case where Buffy has a very solid chance of losing because we're fighting the evil that has untapped source of power that can always be replenished again and again. So we're here meeting everybody in the living room of Buffy's house. They all sit there. They welcome Xander back from the hospital. Everybody's depressed. Everybody's demotivated. There's no end in sight. And Buffy here comes with the strategy.
The bad guys always go where their power is. They're protecting the vineyard or something at the vineyard. I say it's their power, and I say it's time we go in and take it away from them.
Everybody is so depressed that they start pushing back against Buffy. And we see first Faith, who's coming up saying, hey, I'm not going back there unless we have a solid proof that something's in fact there.
How about we don't? But I'm not going back in that place, not without proof.
Which is a super fair comment. She just asks for a little bit of regrouping, research, figuring out what we're gonna do. But then Professor Wood intervenes.
I think Faith had the floor.
And I'm already irritated because he's just been added to the group like 2 days ago. He doesn't have any... Why is he even talking? Like, why is he even making any decisions and pretends like he's important here? Okay, we move on. Faith has a point, but she suggests no other ideas. It's easy to be down on someone else's idea when you bring no ideas of your own. Here comes Giles.
This is a hell of a lot to ask.
Too much.
Excuse-moi. Weren't you asking the same of Buffy literally when she was 16 years old to do all this, but on her own? Why are you now all of a sudden pretending like all these other potential slayers that are the same age, it's too much to ask? And literally nobody is asking you to do anything. You're not going to fight anyone. This is very unlike for him to just complain. I would expect that he would suggest some other solution, do research, do reconnaissance mission, just do some surveillance, but he just complains. He seems pissed. Buffy tries to rebuttal, but in a very wrong way. She makes it personal.
For 7 years, I've kept us safe by doing this. Exactly this. Making the hard decisions. And now, what, suddenly you're all acting like you can't trust me?
But she's also right. She's proven herself to be a good leader. She's proven that she knows what she's talking about, and they should just trust her because that's how it's always been. She was always able to drag them out of all the dangers that very often her own friends drag her into by making stupid decisions. But Giles makes it even more personal, saying that there is no trust between them and that should be discussed in the open. If you're in the middle of the war, you do not discuss personal misunderstanding in front of your whole troops. Especially we're talking about young, gullible girls who would sway their opinion depending who are the coolest. I think this is literally the worst strategy, and he throws it there because he knows that she's not going to be in favors here if they discuss that in the open with everyone. The trust issues that Giles talk about is that they tried to kill Spike when Buffy was away. Obviously trust issues because they think they know better that he's a danger than she does. He then proved himself to be the only person that she can rely on, but that's a little bit down the line.
You're being reckless. Man, I don't even know you, and I can tell. You are so obsessed with beating Caleb, you are willing to jump into any plan without thinking.
And I don't understand why she whines so much. She would be dead a few episodes ago if it wasn't for somebody else saving her. So just chill. And then this girl, Kennedy, stands up.
Well, that's how it feels to us. People are dying.
So annoyed with this character. You haven't proven yourself in anything. Why do you think you're better than everybody else? You're not. You're just louder and pusher than everybody else, and you enjoy power so much. She literally would like to take over Buffy's role tomorrow if she could, but you're not good enough. You're not better than all these other potentials. So just sit down and listen to what the adults are saying. Then here comes Willow.
With everything that's happened, I'm worried about your judgment.
A little bit weird coming from you. Weren't you the one that like just a season ago were skinning people alive? We're so addicted to magic that you put Buffy's little sister in danger, and you judging Buffy's way of thinking? Really? The sadness of Willow's comment is that she opens the door and gives everybody a pass to trash Buffy because this is her closest friend, right? This is the closest friend that has authority. All these little nobodies, yes, that can complain, but nobody listens to them. This is the other person with the most authority in this room, and she opens this gate. I'm trashing Buffy too. I'm not taking her side. She didn't have to say this out loud. I'm not taking your side. But now that she did this, everybody else feels empowered to stand up for themselves and trash Buffy in their face, which they would never have the courage to do one-on-one. It's only because they have this green pass from Willow to gang up and do it out in the open together that they take this chance and trash her. So I blame Willow for opening this door, even though her comment was soft. Buffy goes on this rant about saying that democracy doesn't work in a war and you have to have one voice and one leadership, which is of course true, but it's not something people want to hear. But she is right. Someone has to give the orders. Someone has to take hard decisions. And we see that later when she leaves, that they descend into chaos without one leadership voice. It is on Buffy's shoulders to take these tough decisions that she probably doesn't even want to take, but she understands that someone has to take them and be responsible for them and take the fault if something goes wrong. But then Anya intervenes and says her speech.
We don't know if you're actually better. I mean, you came into the world with certain advantages, sure. I mean, that's the legacy. But you didn't earn it. You didn't work for it. You've never had anybody come up to you and say that you deserve these things more than anyone else. They were just handed to you. So that doesn't make you better than us. It makes you luckier than us.
We're going to linger here a little bit. This scene actually shows us who Anya really is, which we kind of already know because she's consistent in her straightforwardness, this resistance to learning the human ways. She doesn't understand why humans are this and that, and she's just very materialistic. She's very transactional. She doesn't really care about anybody else except for herself and for some reason Xander. But it's all sprinkled in this taste of comedy and sarcasm, which really makes it adorable for us viewers to see. Well, Anya is just like quirky. She's just like that. It's really interesting to watch. If she wasn't there, it wouldn't be that funny. And that's true. But from point of view of Buffy in her situation, this is not the case. If she cannot adapt to human ways, like even freaking Spike shows more human behavior that she does. And she's an ex-demon. She's now a human for many years. He's still a vampire or whatever. We see the main emotion that drives Anya, apart from materialistic stuff. She is jealous. She is a jealous personality. But here we see specifically that she's jealous of Buffy. She talks about the jealousy that it's more related to her power. But what she is jealous of is Xander, because he is in love with Buffy for forever, and he never got over that love. He just knows that he's friend zone and there is no moving forward. So he's stuck with the next best thing that clung to him and wouldn't be able to let go and let him breathe and find something else. Anya, she literally boasts herself on him. He has no other choice but to be with her. Maybe there's some sort of love, but I would argue for forever that if Buffy gave a slightest indication that she's interested in him, he would drop Anya in a heartbeat. He was always jealous of all Buffy's boyfriend because he never got over her, and he still is in her orbit, hoping that someday, somewhere, somehow there's going to be an opening and he's going to be there as her partner. You cannot convince me otherwise. There is no other reason for Xander to be in this death group. He doesn't have any skills to fight this. We'll come back to that later. Anya knows this and she's jealous. She's jealous that Buffy's there. And we even had a really good hint about that when they were about to get married. The reason Xander started doubting their future, there was an episode where they showed that they were fighting in the future because Xander couldn't really let go of dedicating his time and his energy to Buffy all the time.
Well, one of us has to make some money.
Well, what do you want me to do, Anya, huh? I can't work. My back's shot.
And whose fault is that?
No. Not the Buffy thing again.
You had no business fighting demons with her.
Buffy needed me. I had to help.
Well, it didn't save her, did it?
Which proves to me that Buffy is still his number one person. And that, of course, makes Anya very jealous. But then she says also that, Buffy, you're not really better than us. You're just luckier. We don't know if you're better than us. Anya, we know she's better than you. It's so obvious. You just like a few episodes ago slaughtered a bunch of frat boys without a heartbeat. You didn't really care until somebody came after you. We know you're just not a good person. You're not. You're funny. You might be likable because of that, but you're not a good person. So Buffy is definitely better than you. You don't have any intrinsic motivation to fight evil for the sake of good, and you're only here because you're with Xander, who's cleaning in Buffy's orbit because he loves her. There is no other reason for you to be here. You would not be able to handle the pressure that Buffy has as a Slayer. It sounds as if you wish you would get this calling, which borders the curse, but you won't be able to handle it. You would break. You're not jealous because Buffy has this calling. She's so lucky that has this superpower. You're jealous because she's successful in it. She can do it, and people still like her. But everybody likes you. This is the only moment that it was acceptable for Anya to express her actual opinions, which I'm sure she carried with her for a long time, because this monologue sounded really thought through and intentional. And this must feel so good for her to finally have this floor to say it without being judged, because otherwise people would be like, what are you talking about? Buffy doesn't deserve this. But what she says is outrageous. Saying that Buffy doesn't deserve it is the biggest lie ever, because if you look at Buffy since the beginning when she gained those powers, she could just chill and relax and be the Faith type of person who would just use her power to enrich herself or follow other intrinsic motivations. But Buffy works every day to be better. She still trains. She doesn't think she's good enough. She wants to learn more. She wants to grow. She even goes to Spike to research why the other Slayers died, so she could avoid it. And that what brings her to this whole down the spiral relationship that they've got. She started spending more time with him for the research of becoming a better Slayer. She doesn't just sit and chill because she got the powers. She won the lottery. She always grows. So yes, she earned it, and she's better than you. As someone who is a 1,000-year-old demon, she brings so little to the table, it is embarrassing. You would expect she would be their biggest source of knowledge about all the kinds of evil that there are and how to fight them, yet she brings so little of that to them. It turns out that like Giles and Willow and even freaking Dawn are better at doing the research in these books in different languages to find some information about what they're fighting. And Anya very rarely brings anything useful. How could that even be possible? She is so useless. And she is a terrible, terrible friend, because she honestly doesn't care about anybody there except for herself and, for some reason that I don't understand, Xander. This whole monologue of Anya was so insane that I really wanted to like punch her in the face, and I hope that Buffy would. She could have rebutted everything line by line. She could have just said that, you know what, I did earn it because I died twice to save you all. I had to kill the love of my life to save you all. I had to survive the death of my mother and still be fighting. I had to play nice when you brought me back from heaven against my will, not to hurt your feelings. I have to go to a shitty job day after day after day to pay the bills for Dawn and you useless lot who for some reason live in my fucking house. More than that, I find out that when I come back from the dead, all the money that my mother left me was spent, and I have to be the one fixing the freaking roof that's leaking. And that brings me back to Willow. Willow and Tara, why the hell were they living in Buffy's house? Why? She dies, they stay in her house, and she's the only one that can pay bills when she comes back from the dead. Did they raise her from the dead to pay the bills? Was that the motivation? Because they were broke students that had no money. They didn't contribute nothing. Poor Buffy had to save the world and provide for 3 people, 2 adults and 1 teenager who did fuck all. Dawn didn't have a job. None of them had a job. Who paid for the house? Buffy? I didn't really understand that, because Buffy went through so much loss. She lost her mom. She had no support. And these 2 freaking broke students didn't contribute her in any way. Okay, they babysit Dawn from time to time, trying to pull her into magic addiction and whatnot. But is that it? That's all you got to show that you're a strong and powerful and responsible adult? Excuse me, you don't have the right to be in this house. Buffy goes on to say that she's willing to discuss strategy, blah, blah, blah. I'm open to the ideas, but that's not good enough.
I'm still in charge here.
And why is that exactly?
Maybe we need a vote to see who wants Faith to have a turn in charge.
Well, it's not going to be you in charge. Whose mattress do you sleep in? Whose house did you come for protection to? It was Buffy's house. She's in charge. She's the Slayer. She's the owner of this house. So then Kennedy, of course, again, like, I have to be here. I'm the most important one, suggests a vote. And here comes Giles. Giles?
Buffy, that's enough.
The one who's supposed to be her mentor. The one who's supposed to be supporting her. The one who actually left her when she was in her most vulnerable state, brought back from the dead, her mom, is not there. Her adult support is not there. She's in shambles. She doesn't want to be here. She's struggling. There's some new threat. She has this amount of bills to pay for Willow and Tara, who do whatever in her house. And he says, okay, this is the perfect time to leave you alone. Here's $100. I'm gone. You left her, and now she learned to make her own decisions, which she does very well, apparently, because everybody's still there, still alive, and the world is still there. He is useless now. He has no one to teach. She doesn't need his advice. So this is the only way for him to get back and feel important. Maybe if Buffy is gone, I can take on some new protege and, mentor them. Maybe it's going to be Dawn. Maybe it's going to be one of these other potentials. Probably not Kennedy because she's way too freaking annoying, already opinionated. But this is his opening to become important again. And he throws her under the bus for this. This was the point where I was hoping that Buffy would just point to the door and says, okay, everyone, you don't agree? Please escort yourself out of my premises and discuss your strategies over there. But that's not what happens. At the end of the day, she doesn't really need them. She brought the Caleb down on her own without anybody's help. It's them who needs her. They came to her for protection. But no, that's not what happens. Freaking Dawn, her own sister.
And you can't stay here. So I need you to leave. This is my house, too.
Dawn. The motivations are Dawn as obvious as day. We saw it from the moment she appeared. She is very jealous of Buffy. Buffy outshines her in everything, and she was fighting for the spot in the light for forever. But the only way she can win Buffy for the spot is to get herself in trouble. This is the only thing she can do. So this is her thinking, this is my time to shine. I'm going to take a step in and be like an adult and propose that now you're under my protection. But it's the only way to do that if Buffy leaves. So that's what she suggests. And then Xander, of course, comes in with some sort of stupid sarcastic comment.
I'm trying to see your point here, Buff. But I guess it must be a little bit to my left. Because I just don't.
Yes, what you expect to hear from Xander, but also, like, this is a life and death situation. You're an adult. Can you say anything else? Make a suggestion. Give a proposal of something sometime, ever, once. Here I can see Xander's resentment towards Buffy that completely is coming from the place of she's not falling for him and she never will. So this is the way to get back at her. This is the way also to take some power away from her. A few episodes ago when he discussed with Dawn, when she was so happy that she thought she's going to be another potential. She was so excited about that. Now I'm going to be as cool as Buffy, maybe cooler. If Buffy dies, I'm going to take her place. But then when that didn't happen, Xander told her, oh, I understand. It's so hard. It's so hard for us, just normal people, to be in a circle of friends to just grow in power, become so strong and powerful. Excuse me, nobody asks you to do this. You do not have to do this. You can go and live your normal life with your demon girlfriend. It's okay. The only reason you hang out is because you want to be close to Buffy. You're just waiting until she turns around and says, I love you, let's be together. This is the only reason. You don't have, this is not your fight. At the end of the day, the only person that turns out to have Buffy's back is Spike. He has his own motivations, but at least he's sincere about them. To sum up, Buffy's friends are trash in this episode. If you disagree with your friend, there are other things to go about that, apart from kicking her out of her own house in the dangerous situation where she might go out and die on her own. That's not something you do to your friend, okay? They finished the season with them making up. Of course, Buffy was right. They crumble when she leaves. But also, friendship is about disagreements. So for me, even though this episode was ridiculously painful to watch and so unfair to Buffy, the friendships in real life go through the disagreements that you have to be able to argue with your friends and to come together again. And this is normal to say, I'm sorry, to say I was wrong. So at the end of the day, we see the three Musketeers surviving the last episode and going through to the very, very end, fighting off this evil. And I'm glad they did, because that's what friendships are all about. Forgiving each other, even though sometimes don't show off your best sides. And that's what I love about the show. They evolve all the characters, but also this dynamic of friendship that evolves from just being this kind of pink version of friends are always together, always doing everything together, living together. But the reality is friends grow up, everybody finds a partner, they have their own path, sometimes they clash, sometimes they move away from each other. So that's normal that the dynamic of relationship is changing. And that's where we end this season. And I want to hear, what do you think about this episode? Are you also like flabbergasted? What the hell is going on here? Is it just me? Did I take it too personally? I don't know. But to me, it seemed absolutely unfair, absolutely uncalled for. So I was Team Buffy all the way. And I'm glad that Spike was there in the next episode to comfort her, give her that pep talk about how she's the best, she's the one, and she's going to kick everybody's ass. And I think that was something that she really, really needed to hear, and that brought them closer. So let me know what you think. See the other videos that I have, and don't forget to subscribe, because it gives me motivation to do more videos specifically in this topic. Thank you so much.